Hi, I'm Ross Rosenberg. Welcome to my latest YouTube video and podcast. Today I'm going to talk about a video that I still can't believe happened. Of all my videos, this one just took off. It became viral. It has been viewed 3.8 million times. The name of it is When You Unmask a Covert Narcissist, Run, but Quietly. I want to talk about a part of this video that I think is very relevant to these days. I won't be covering information about covert narcissists except some basic stuff that will follow because I have a lot of YouTube videos, information in my books, both the Codependency Revolution and the Human Magnet Syndrome and the Human Magnet Syndrome workbook that I just got released. There's plenty of information about covert narcissism, but it will suffice to say that a covert narcissist has narcissistic personality disorder. But what makes them different is they also have strong traits of antisocial personality disorder. In other words, they are part sociopath. Because there is a difference between a sociopath or someone with antisocial personality disorder and a covert narcissist, it's probably important that I just give that little bit of information right here. The sociopath, the person with antisocial personality disorder, does not crave relationships. They don't crave power, prestige. They just want the goodies that come with it, the money. But the person who is a pathological narcissist, someone who has narcissistic personality disorder and sociopathic traits, they want power, they want friends, they want fame, they want to be prestigious, they want to be known and famous and the talk of the town, the person that everyone loves. They need that. Well, that's part of the narcissistic personality disorder. But they also have strong sociopathic traits, which means that they know what they are doing. They are consciously liars, cheaters, BSers. They consciously hide their real intentions, their real motives. They understand that if they should be their ASPD or sociopathic self, they could not get what they want. They could not achieve the high levels in their profession, in society, or among their friends. They know when they're lying. They do not delude themselves with grandiosity and entitlement like someone who only has narcissistic personality disorder. Okay, I'm not here to talk about covert narcissism. I'm here to talk about why you should not confront them if you want to get out of a relationship. It's very important that you listen to me. I've made the mistakes. I have suffered the consequences. I remember, it's funny because I remember my parents saying, and perhaps I probably even said that to my son, I made these mistakes. I'm trying to help you from going through them. And if you're listening to the podcast, you didn't see my parent face. But when you want to confront a covert narcissist, you want to take their mask off and show the world what they're doing. Show your friends, show your community, show people at work. You are creating one of the most harmful actions that you can do to a narcissist, to a covert narcissist. Taking away their pretend identity, threatening their job, their status, their prestige, their fame. It is like you're going to kill them. Now remember that. Threatening them, holding them accountable, unmasking them is equal to a form of murder. They believe that they cannot exist in the world if people know their true intentions. They know the difference between who they are pretending to be and who they really are. Remember, they have sociopathic traits, but they have everything at stake. Everything that they have is built into this pretend self so that they can be powerful, successful. And if you try to out them, you try to expose them, they have no other option but to try to destroy you. Let me say that again. They have no other option but to try to destroy you. And destruction can come in many different ways. It could come in backstabbing, triangulation, poisoning children's minds, playing games, turning people and groups against you, sabotaging you. Remember, it's a sociopath. They are not governed by remorse and empathy. One more time, they are not governed by remorse or empathy. They don't have cognitive dissonance. When they're about to do something bad that has grave consequences for a person, they don't struggle with the shame and the guilt of it all. There's nothing. There's no cognitive dissonance. They just do it because they know it's either them or you. I think a friend once explained sociopathy to me by saying, you're either the bug or the windshield. And I thought that was very interesting. If you feel stuck in painful relationship patterns, you're not alone. I've already helped thousands break free from what I call self-love deficit disorder and how to finally choose self-love over the insanity you create for yourselves. Work with me. My psychotherapy can help. So many times in my life, going all the way back 20, 30 years ago, and all the way up to probably 10 years ago, when I thought I had to out this narcissist who was lying. I had to expose them because I believed it was the right thing to do. My personality type, the type of codependent I was this active codependent that thought I should fight the narcissists who were trying to hurt me. The problem is I couldn't stop falling in love with them and marrying them. But still, that's another subject, and there's a lot of information about that in my books and other videos and podcasts. I remember I was in this men's group, this men's organization, and I volunteered to be a staff for the weekend. And it was really important for me to do that, not only for the organization because I believed in it, but I really wanted to give back. And it was something that I really was excited about. And I did not anticipate the leader of this event, the person who was facilitating what we call the weekend, he had some kind of issue with me. There's something about my personality, and this is beyond the scope of this video, this podcast, but there's something about Ross Rosenberg when he is just himself. I trigger narcissists. I could tell you why, but I'll take us way off track here. But it'll suffice to say, they did not want me to be with them on the weekend. And it was hurtful. It made me sad. It confused me because all the other weekend leaders, they were happy. In fact, they loved having me volunteer because they always wanted to have a psychotherapist on these weekends because it helped them keep people safe. And it was so enjoyable and so meaningful to be a part of this men's movement, this men's group, and to help other esteemed leaders that really did some great things with these men. But with this person, he said no, and he would not talk to me when I asked him to discuss it. And because I didn't jump to the conclusion he was a narcissist, because first of all, I hadn't yet written my book, I hadn't yet gone through all these consequences I would end up going through to finally put me in this frame of mind that the human magnet syndrome, that the ideas, the theories, the content would eventually come to me. So I was mad, I was angry, I was hurt, and I thought, I believe in communication, and I pushed the person to talk. And the more I pushed to talk, the more he avoided me. And then I got mad. Remember, I was an active codependent. Active codependents fall in love with narcissists. They give all the love, respect, caring, trust, and protection. That's the definition of codependency. They try to change the narcissist, try to make it equal, try to make it mutual, but it never is, and they stay in a relationship. That's the definition of all codependents. Active codependents argue, try to coerce, try to stand up to, try to counter, and sometimes even try to manipulate the narcissist into loving them. So I'm this active codependent that believed that people need to know what is going on and I need to hold them accountable. And so when I could not get a conversation with this person, and I was righteous, and I still am righteous. I still believe in the truth, and I still believe in standing up for the truth. I went to the senior members of this organization, and I asked them to listen to what I had to say. But something happened that completely shattered me, that blew me away. That other person got to them, and what that person did was he smeared me. He broke any belief that they had in my credibility. It was as if they were not interested in anything I had to say. It was shocking. It blew my mind. I was hurt and I was upset. And of course, I pushed harder because I was righteous and I had no idea about covert narcissists. And I decided, this is not fair. I'm going to fight. And then the consequences for me got worse. People that were my friends started telling me, hey, what's going on? We're hearing some pretty bad stuff about you. People that I was allied with in the organization started to turn against me. And the next thing you know, I was isolated, I was alone, and ultimately had to leave this organization that I absolutely loved. I was shattered. I was upset. I was dismayed. And it took me a while to figure it out. It wasn't until another situation like that, which happened in my family, when I tried to out someone whose identity I'll keep somewhat private, that person turned the rest of the family against me and created this corrupt counteroffensive with lies and manipulation. And the next thing I know, what I'm hearing is there's something wrong with me psychologically, and that is why people don't listen to me. It was such a strong counter push to shut me up, to keep me from holding that person accountable. And then I started thinking, okay, I am dealing with people with narcissistic personality disorder. I am dealing with people who have this tremendous, huge reason to protect their pretend self, to keep people believing the mask that they have on, well, that's their face. The mask you want to take off, well, that's up in your mind. You're making it up. I started to realize that you cannot win when you directly fight a covert narcissist and you try to out them. There's a saying that I love to quote. It's George Bernard Shaw saying, "Don't wrestle with pigs, you'll get dirty. And besides, the pig likes it." That was about the time I learned that when you fight a narcissist, you stand up for yourself and you decide that you're not going to take it. You're going to be strong. You're going to be brave. You're going to be righteous. It's the worst thing you could do. Because if someone was a professional boxer and he was taunting you, and he just wanted to really get under your skin, he wanted to antagonize you so that you would want to fight him, then there would be legitimacy in him beating the crap out of you in the ring. Because you got into the ring and you decided you were going to fight him. No one knows, the people watching you fight the narcissist who just beats the heck out of you, no one knows that you were manipulated. All they know is that you're equally angry. You're, if anything, maybe have problems with your anger. You might seem kind of derailed. You might seem like you've lost your common sense. And you're looking like this crazy, angry person trying to fight a narcissist who is happy because they get to win and have legitimacy in the fight. Because you decided you were going to fight him. Well, I'll tell you, if you're going to fight a boxer, if you're going to wrestle a wrestler, you're going to sumo a sumo wrestler, whatever, but you're going to do something that is going to be counter-aggressive with someone who is an expert at the fight that you're engaging. You're going to lose bad, and that person has everything to gain to keep you fighting. So how do you win then? Well, you win by understanding that you cannot win a fight with a person who has home field advantage. You cannot win a fight of aggression with counter-aggression when your counter-aggression is manipulated against you, and not only does it fail, but it makes you look bad. Covert narcissists will do anything to turn the situation. Anything. If you're trying to out them with a lie, they will make it so that you are the liar, that you have a problem with that. If you are trying to hold them responsible and show them evidence that what they did was wrong, they will never admit that they were wrong. They have to think of something that is going to be very effective in shutting you down. Because if people should know that they are pretend, if people should know that they are fake, if people should know that this bigger than life, loving, magnetic, lovely, sweet, whatever the words are that describe how wonderful this person is, they will protect that because underneath it is this understanding that if you out them, everything that they have is destroyed. That if people get to know who they really are, people who are cold, indifferent, no empathy, who don't really give a darn, it will destroy them. So they don't have a choice but to destroy you, crush you, neutralize the information you're trying to bring to the forefront, and ultimately make you look like the bad guy. So what I'm saying is, don't be a coward and walk away, run away, don't fight. I'm not saying that. I'm saying to be strong, to be powerful, and to protect yourself against covert narcissists. You don't want to take them on head to head, because you won't win. And if you do win in the initial battle, they're going to kill you in the war. You just have to leave their mask on, and then you have to get out. You have to walk away. You have to end the relationship. It doesn't mean you lost. It doesn't mean you're humiliated. It means that you saved yourself. There's this dynamic called false power syndrome, and that is the anger, the resentment, the bitter opposition to someone who is trying to hurt you. It is a very human reaction. In fact, it is a part of our evolution that if we are threatened, we feel angry. Our adrenaline, our cortisol levels, they increase, our heart rate starts going, and we go into battle mode, and we're ready to fight. False power syndrome is when a narcissist activates that, and you are ready to fight, and you believe you can beat them. But really, you can't. That's the false power. You can't win at a wrestling match with a pig who loves to get dirty, who plays dirty, who fights in their dirty pigsty of an environment. Walking away is winning. Disconnecting with them is winning. Maintaining your credibility and quietly exiting the relationship, that is winning. It is absolutely winning. There is nothing to be ashamed of. Because if you don't take this advice, you're going to find out what everyone else finds out when they try to take the mask of a covert narcissist. They are met with gale force hurricane opposition, and they are crushed. And if they win, it's a bitter, bitter fight. I know people that take these covert narcissists in custody battles. SLDs, codependents, who aren't in recovery, decide to go face to face with them. And with thousands of dollars, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars, they fight in court. And they're trying to show people that this person is lying. But what they don't understand is that the court system, the environment in which they are trying to show the truth, well, that environment is not conducive to the truth. People are not patient. People are not open. Everyone is a little bit annoyed. Everyone is stressed out, and they just want things to move forward, and they don't like a complainer. It is so easy for the covert narcissist, if they are on top of their crap, passive aggressive, covertly aggressive, manipulative, divisive. It is so easy for them to not only turn people against you, because that's what they do. They survive by it. It is easy for them to activate you, to get you into the wrestling ring, to get you to fight them, because that's how they're going to crush you. So if you are trying to get out of a relationship with a covert narcissist, you're not going to win by taking their mask off. You won't get anything other than consequences, pain, and suffering. You must consider what I'm trying to tell you, and that is reframe it all. The win is escaping it unscathed. To start your life without them occupying space in your head. To not hold on to resentment and bitterness, because ultimately that kills you. There's a great saying, and I think it's by Carrie Fisher, resentment is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. In other words, resentment is poisonous. It does not hurt the person that you hold these feelings, these animosity, these negative, these very angry and resentful feelings. No, you suffer. You get poisoned. The toxin of your anger pulls you into the wrestling ring, and then you fight a fight that you can never win. And the fight itself shows you're wrong and you lose. So just get out. See it as a positive. See it as an act of self-love. Self-love deficit disorder or codependency is fueled by shame, by fear, by loneliness, by trauma. It is so easy for an SLD, a codependent, to get reactivated or triggered to go back to the trauma, to reenact the trauma as the victim. That is why the human magnet syndrome works. And by the way, the human magnet syndrome is a book I wrote. The narcissist and the codependent attract each other. And what starts off a beautiful soulmate love turns into the cellmate reality. Eventually, the codependent realizes that they're not loved, respected, cared for, trusted, or protected, but they can't get out of the relationship either. When facing a covert narcissist, don't take the mask off. Run quietly. I hope this helped you. And if you would like more information about this, just give me an email at help@selfloverecovery.com. I provide psychotherapy and self-love recovery treatment for people who are self-love deficient or codependents who want to permanently neutralize their codependency, their self-love deficit disorder, finally experience their birthright of self-love. If you would like to read my books or get some information about my educational resources, go to selfloverecovery.com or say something in the comments. Thank you so much for supporting me over the years. And I always appreciate you guys. And if you need something, just give me a shout. You know my contact information. I'll see you then. And we'll get you next time. Next video, next podcast. Bye-bye. If you feel stuck in painful relationship patterns, you're not alone. I've already helped thousands break free from what I call self-love deficit disorder and how to finally choose self-love over the insanity you create for yourselves. Work with me. My psychotherapy can help.